You know, a few days ago, I saw Screen Time share this right here. Neil Druckmann says Joel was right to save Ellie in The Last of Us. I believe Joel was right. If I were in Joel's position, I hope I would be able to do what he did to save my daughter. Now, there's something that I had been thinking about for some time. We know that the promotion for The Last of Us show is ramping up. Season 2 is coming. And whether we like it, don't like it, or we have our criticisms on it with casting or direction or pacing issues, I understand all of that. I also understand what type of world we're in now and what type of things are relevant and not relevant. And so I think the conversation of The Last of Us in just the general public has turned sour for some time. We know that the hate was immense for The Last of Us 2. Immense. Because of what happened, because of the direction it took with Joel, because the game was so depressing. And it's been, 6 years now? And low-key, the hate hasn't really died down. Now, here on this channel, we have made multiple videos on The Last of Us, on Joel's decision, on the hate for Abby, how much I hated The Last of Us 2, how much I ended up understanding it later on. So I've been on both sides. If just liking it, not liking it. Do I still think The Last of Us is bad? No, I never thought it was bad. There were just things I really didn't like. I didn't like the Abby sections. I didn't like Joel dying the way he did. I didn't agree with some of it, but the world is brutal. And one of the most beautiful things that The Last of Us has, and cruel things, is how grounded, realistic, and savage the world is. That no matter who you are, you can get killed or hurt or eaten, honestly, in the blink of an eye. You could be the toughest son of a bitch out there, but this world will tear you down and kill you. And Joel's death, although we hated it, and I still hate it to this day, it just showed that consequences exist in this world. And this world is so brutal that sometimes, no matter how good you are, or how strong you are, or how experienced you are, things can still catch you off guard. Still they can. And I wish things would have been different, but they're not. And so Neil Druckmann talking about this now, it almost seems like people are saying, well, you know what? He finally realized he made a mistake. He finally realized that he should have never killed Joel. He finally realized this, and that. But I think, and I've seen some older interviews, I think that Neil Druckmann always believed that Joel was right in the situation of saving Ellie, because he is a father, he has a daughter, and he knows that he would probably do the same thing if he was in Joel's shoes. Why would we sacrifice someone that we learn to love, like a daughter, like a son, like our own kid? Why would we sacrifice them for a world that's been broken for so long? For a cure that may or may not happen by using her brain, by studying her. We don't know if a cure would have been able to be developed. The Fireflies assumed that they would be able to get one, but they didn't really know. And even the dad, Abby's dad, didn't even know fully if that was the case. I see the gray issue where the moral issue lies. Well, if Ellie would have been awake, she would have been able to make her decision. Now, if Ellie would have been awake and they would have explained everything to her and to Joel, and then Joel would have said, no, I'm not going to let you do this, and then he killed everybody and took her, that would have been, okay, that would have been different. But obviously they wanted to do it without even telling Ellie. She was never going to wake up again. And who knows if it would have even saved anything. So I think from the very beginning, Neil Druckmann knew that Joel was right in that situation, and people would interpret it however they saw fit. But I don't think that Neil Druckmann just changed his mind. I think there's just a pressing issue that's always going to follow them around. It's been 6 years now. We're going on 7, and soon it'll be a decade. Is The Last of Us always going to be remembered by this stuff? When I think of The Last of Us, I think of one of the greatest games of all time, in my top 3 favorites. And I always think of The Last of Us Part 1 only, because that game touched my soul. Joel is beautiful and awesome in that particular game. And me being in Joel's shoes, I would have done everything the exact same way. It's you latch onto Joel. You love what kind of character he is, how brave he is, how strong he is to make these decisions. I don't care about the world. Fuck the world. I want to just save Ellie. And so that's why the story resonated so much with me. And I was so pissed off at Ellie for so long because she was so fucking mean to Joel all the time. And I didn't understand it. Why? Why are you so mean to him after everything that he did for you? The pain, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the cross-country adventure that he took you on to try to save something like he was supposed to. And then, obviously he fell in love with you in daughter and father way. He cared for you. He wanted the best for you, and you treated him like shit for so long because of the lie. And I understand it. There was a consequence that he had to face. Joel was just hurt and sad. And me as the player, I felt like Joel. So I was hurt and I was sad too, because we just wanted to help Ellie. And so the game was brutal. And seeing Joel die, it angered me for such such a long time, and I held this grudge against The Last of Us, but it was never I never thought, let me threaten Abby's actress, let me do this, or let me talk this shit, or bring the person down. No, I'm always talking about the characters in the game. I fucking hated Abby. I didn't like Abby. I wanted to kill Abby. When she got tortured and she was on that stake on the beach, I didn't really feel remorse. I'm gonna be honest, when I played it the first time, why would I feel remorse for this woman who killed me? She killed Joel, so she killed me. I wouldn't feel any remorse. Fuck that. Fuck her and fuck Liv. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt. That's what the game made me feel. The Last of Us Part 2 became a game that gave me emotions and feelings that I have never, ever felt in a video game since. That game broke me down in pieces. And when the credits finally rolled, I felt like Ellie. Alone and broken and hollow. There was nothing there. I was so tired because it was so freaking excruciating to play through the campaign. It was such a slog to get through, not because it was boring, but because there was so much emotion and so much emotional breakdown that it took so much for me to play that game. I said I would never play The Last of Us Part 2 from beginning to end ever again, because I wouldn't want to go through that emotional ride that it put me through. I was like, man, fuck this game. Fuck everybody. Ellie, you're fucking rude as hell for my boy Joel. Abby, you're a bitch. Lev, you're a bitch. Everybody, fuck everybody. I felt bad for Tommy. His life got broken. I mean, The Last of Us 2 just broke you. It's a sad game. A depressing game. But you know, as the years have gone on, I've appreciated the feelings that it gave me, because I don't know that I'll ever experience anything like that again. Something so draining. It was a once in a lifetime type of experience when you do play a lot of video games. My opinions haven't changed all that much when it comes to Abby and Lev and The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of, oh, I love them, I want to see them, I want to play as them. No, I really don't. To me, The Last of Us story is still Joel, is still Ellie, and that's just how I see it. That's how I'll always remember it. About 2 years ago, I replayed The Last of Us Part 2, but I only played the story from Ellie's perspective. We did the first mission, we played all of the Ellie missions, all the flashback missions, and then we skipped everything with Abby and we went into the ending. And I did a little let's play on it, and the game took about 12 hours, so it was about half as long, and it was about the same length as the first game. And when I played it like that, without seeing Abby, without really understanding her story, it felt better to me. It felt happier. It felt just a little happier. And it was a very, very different experience. So if you have played the game and you're such a big fan of Joel and Ellie only, and you hate Abby and her sections, or you just hate the Abby sections in general, maybe trying to play through the game just from Ellie's perspective could be really, really, really interesting. A really different way to play the game. And I guess you could play it from Abby's perspective also, just from the very beginning. I've never done that. I don't think I ever will, but I'm sure that would also give you a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. But you know, I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about The Last of Us the last few days. It's sad to see the downfall of a great franchise. The Last of Us Part 2 has affected Naughty Dog as a company. It's affected Neil Druckmann as a writer. It's affected their next project, Intergalactic. The Heretic Prophet has damaged the show. You know, I don't even want to get into the show so much, but I'm not ready to see Joel die again in the show. I'm sure it's going to be brutal. I'm sure it's going to be awful. I don't know if I'm ready for it. I'm still watching it. I'm still going to be there, but I'm going to find it very hard to believe that Bella Ramsey, the actress that plays Ellie in the show, is now going to run through Seattle and kill all these people and be on a hungry, murderous revenge quest. Does she have the acting chops to pull off that emotion? Sure, but she doesn't have the look. And for some fucking reason, every time that we talk about the look of a character, everyone always tries to sexualize Ellie. Oh, because she's not hot, you don't want to see her because she's not there. We're not talking about that. Me, as a personal opinion, I'm talking about the fact that I don't believe that a 5'2" girl is going to traverse this ravenous, crazy, murderous, cannibalistic, zombified world, apocalyptic world with a bow and a gun and kill everything in her path. I find it very hard to believe that she's going to overpower anyone just by her looks. If you would have recasted her in season 2 and you would have casted a more believable actor, could you have casted an actress that was 5'10", a little bit more slim, a little bit more muscular, just taller, where she looks more imposing, agile, to hide, to move, to do stealth? Could you have done that? Yes, because that would have been a little bit more believable. When I look at Bella Ramsey right now for season 2, she's never given me the impression that she looks like she can take on Seattle and kill all these people, these grown-ass men that even Joel struggled with in the first season. So the combat, the way they approach this is going to be very interesting to see. I love The Last of Us so much that I want to see things that I like. And so it's very hard because everybody has different opinions. I'm not fully 100% behind Pedro Pascal being casted as Joel and Tommy being casted as who he is and his wife being casted either, because they don't look like any of the characters. And I get that an adaptation isn't just, who looks the most like the character, but I see the characters and I don't see Tommy. I don't see Joel. I don't see Ellie. These are just me problems. They're me problems. And if I really didn't like it, if I didn't want to see it, then I just wouldn't put on the show. And I just go back and play The Last of Us 1 and play The Last of Us 2 and that's it. But I'm such a fan of The Last of Us and the world that yes, I'm going to watch the show and I'm going to give it a shot. And I enjoyed the first season for what it was. I'm going to probably enjoy the second season as well, bar a couple things here and there. But we can have these discussions and still keep it civil, still keep it right. Why do we have to bring so much fucking hate to things?